Hello there. It is once again StartJoinTV. My name is Max Keiser. I'm here with George Galloway.
Good to be here again.
And as we were discussing last time on the show, George, this is about crypto. It's about crowdfunding. It's about new technology. And you've become a bit of a star in the crowdfunding space because not only did you fund part of your re-election campaign on StartJoin, a very successful campaign that just finished. But going back a little bit, and this kind of dovetails your campaign, you financed and crowdfunded this documentary film on Tony Blair that's going to be, seeking some exposure in the festival market pretty soon. But first, let's talk about your campaign a little bit, because I've been following it because I followed your crowdfund. So you're bringing me into your campaign because I'm a fan of crowdfunding. But get me up to speed here. So there was an opponent that Labor put up who then dropped out?
Yes, I mean, StartJoin was a magnificent effort. We raised in 30 days over £20,000 from hundreds of people. And this is the revolution. You're right. This is the democratic way to fund politics. I don't have to go to a dodgy Chinese public relations company and ask them for money. I don't have to go to Moscow or Peking or anywhere else. It's the people funding a political campaign. But you're right. Who am I actually fighting? It's not yet clear. Labour selected a candidate. She was last seen pointing at the camera on YouTube saying, "George Galloway, I'm coming to get you." And 3 days later, she resigned. Then they put up someone who had come bottom of the poll in the selection that had led to the first opponent being selected. She got 13 votes out of hundreds, and yet now she's been foisted
Is it fair to say
the National Labour candidate.
Is it fair to say that Labor at this point, you could describe them as having their thumb up their ass?
Well, I wouldn't put it quite so bluntly, but you're an American. The reality is they can't chew gum and walk at the same time, to borrow a more polite Americanism. And they're wandering off into the sunset, I think, certainly in our area.
All right, now let's cut to another piece of the puzzle here, because apparently a ghost from the past has entered the scene with a big check, a big money push. And it's like shocking that this guy is still out there doing stuff. Speak on it.
It's absolutely unbelievable. As you said, we crowdfunded.
I don't even want to say his name.
The forthcoming film, let me say it, The Killings of Tony Blair. And if anybody had any sense at the top of the Labour Party, they'd be putting as much distance between themselves and Tony Blair as they possibly could. But this very day, they have accepted £106,000, it's the best part of $200,000, from the said Tony Blair, giving rise to a number of questions. Which part of his earnings did this £106,000 come from? Was it from a grisly, torturing, murdering dictatorship? He's working for plenty of those. Was it from a rapacious, grubby corporation? He's working for plenty of those. Are these foreign donations? Because Blair has no British earnings appreciably. So, in fact, this money must have come from overseas. It's illegal to accept foreign donations to election funds. How could Ed Miliband imagine that this can be good news? That's how he described it. Good news. Said he was delighted. Said that Tony would be fully involved in the Labour campaign. Are these people trying to throw the election?
Well, I mean,
do they not want to win the election?
Blair would seem to be a brand burner. In other words, if Labor has any kind of a brand that means anything to anybody, if you bring Tony Blair into the mix, you are essentially killing your brand. Look what's happened in Scotland. Labor, apparently, according to the latest polls, they're going to be down to one Labour MP.
If they're lucky. That one has a 1% lead over the SNP, and he's the leader of the Labour Party in Scotland.
And that means a loss of 30...
Or more, 40.
40 MPs.
More than 40.
So the Labour Party is in free fall. They're in collapse because of the crimes of Tony Blair. As you point out in your crowdfunded film, the killings of Tony Blair. So it seems that Labour is really shockingly out of touch. But of course, the entire political spectrum across the board seems to be similarly
Max,
disconnected.
Every candidate's going to be asked every day, did you receive £1,000 or more of Tony Blair's blood money. Every candidate is going to be asked that. I'm already asking it of the candidate who, for the moment at least, is running against me. It's insanity.
Okay.
I'm wondering if both Cameron and Miliband are not trying to throw this election. Perhaps they know something about what's going to happen in the British economy after May that we yet don't, although you probably do. You know everything.
I'm omniscient, as everybody knows, because I listen to Stacey Herbert, and Stacey knows it all. It's coming up her birthday soon, which we're very excited about. And
Well,
she never
excellent.
stops reminding me of this. And so before
Give her a Bitcoin.
I want to talk about Bitcoin. And we touched on it last time, cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. My thought was your constituency in Bradford, these are folks that are dealing with remittances all the time,
yeah.
and there's a lot of money going back and forth. Have you followed up at all
Yes.
on my suggestion, or was it just speaking into the wind? I mean, what's going on here?
You and I are going to do a public meeting in Bradford at which we put together a package of cryptocurrency, maybe launch this Bradford Bitcoin that I'm talking about, which has the ring of Yorkshire solidity about it. People are excited. Since you were there with a barnstorming speech in my constituency a few weeks ago, people are talking about this.
You mentioned Yorkshire. Now, when I was in Bradford visiting your constituency, the first thing I learned from the taxi driver is that up here, we're very proud of Yorkshire stone.
Yeah.
Because Bradford West and Bradford is an amazingly gorgeous city. The
Beautiful.
buildings there are incredibly beautiful.
When the sun shines, that Yorkshire stone glistens like gold. I know you like gold, you like silver. That's why you like the city. It is like being surrounded by old gold.
And you want to put lights out so that almost as a tourist attraction,
Yeah,
you can
people-
light that up and
if
you
we
see that
lit
stone at
If
night.
we lit that up, there's an area called Little Germany, which is an architectural treasure, an aesthetic treasure. If you just lit it up, people would come from all around just to see it. I'm campaigning for a new parliament, Westminster to be turned into a museum, a new federal British parliament to be constructed, purpose-built in Leeds, which is 9 minutes away from Bradford. It would be good for Britain, good for British democracy, good for the North, and it would be good for Bradford.
All right. Well, let's crowdfund it.
Yes.
Crowdfund it on StartJoin.
Crowdfund a new British
We've got our own
parliament.
currency, the Start coin. George Galloway has something, I'm not sure what the connection is with Chinese public relations firms. We'll find out more about that in the future.
Jack Straw.
Jack Straw. It's all going down. It's all good on StartJoinTV. Until next time. Bye, y'all.
Bye.